Hey there, movie fans. So the first topic I'm going to discuss today is Blue Beetle opening between 25 to 27 domestically opening wise. And I know it dethroned Barbie apparently for the opening. So I mean that's good to hear that, but this sucks to hear that this movie just underwhelmed at the box office. I think originally the projections were in the 20 something area, and then the projections were saying in the 30 area, which still wasn't great. It was a little bit better. But yeah, it just sucks to hear this because I thought this was a great movie. I am going to put my review for that later today, so keep a lookout for that. But it just sucks to hear this movie just didn't do well at the box office. And I even though this movie's cheap, it's 120 somewhere in that area. It's one of the cheapest superhero movies. I don't see this movie having legs because it's getting good reviews, but people aren't calling it amazing. Like this is one of those movies I can tell I'm gonna love a lot more than most people. So I don't see this movie having the legs at the box office with the type of word of mouth it's getting. So like the only way I can see this movie doing well even decently is if it does big numbers internationally, and I just don't. The fact Blue Beetle is like not really a big character; he's more on the lesser known side. I don't really see this movie making that much internationally either. So and it's also my opinion. Again, another example that shows why DC needs to reboot. I mean, this last seven movies before this didn't even crack 400, and I'm not even sure this is even going to make more than Black Adam was even crack 400. So I just like I in my past videos I was saying yeah I could see this being part of the DC universe if it's a hit, but if this movie just tanks like it's doing right now, in my opinion, you don't make this part of your new DC universe. It just and why you need to do a hard reboot. Like it's so this just sucks as a film fan who loved this movie a lot more than most people. And it always sucks when I see a movie that I love that it's like not doing well at the box office. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Blue Beetle opening. It's not a good opening. I don't think this movie's gonna. I mean, like I said, unless it does really well internationally, I just don't see this movie making enough to be plugged into the new DC universe. Next thing I want to discuss is the news that Thor 5 might be in development. I know Chris Hemsworth has said, like, if he did do another solo movie, it would probably be his last time doing another Thor movie. And I know there's, like, reports saying there's a chance Taika Waititi might return. And look, I would have mixed feelings about him returning. Because I love Thor Ragnarok. I love the first Thor movie. And I thought Thor Ragnarok was a great movie when it comes to having great emotional moments with some great comedy and de- developing the Thor character like more, like taking renewed fresh dressing and the humor worked. I thought, like I said, it was one of the darkest MCU movies in my opinion, with a great amount of humor that I thought was funny, and it had that perfect balance. But Thor: Love and Thunder just got so silly. I think even Chris Hemsworth said anyway that he even felt like he got really silly. So they would definitely have to like change the dressing of the character in the next movie. And kind of for me, I wanted to go back to more like Thor Ragnarok if Taika Waititi does return to the director, but it's like he doesn't overdo it. I mean, like one of the bad signs to me that showed that Thor: Love and Thunder was like him was Taika Waititi taking it too far with the silly humor was to me of Thor: Love and Thunder. Like they asked him, okay, what type of genre is this film? Because Infinity Saga MCU always did a great job with switching up the genres in the comic book movies, and they said this was a Taika Waititi film, and that's where again I think Thor: Love and Thunder is one of those films that shows me why sometimes letting a director just have full reign control, where the director can just do whatever they want, is not always a good thing in my opinion. And I think Thor: Love and Thunder was a perfect example of that, where Thor Ragnarok felt like you had a tight, greedy tuss on it, but it felt like it hit that sweet balance. Thor: Love and Thunder just felt like he leaned way too much into the silliness. And I really hope if they do another Thor movie, they bring that back to that, bring it back to a bring it back to a great balance like Thor Ragnarok in the first Thor movie. Instead of like Thor: Love and Thunder, or even Thor: The Dark World, where the humor just got silly for me, even in that movie. But Thor: Love and Thunder just took it to like a extreme. So I'm fine with him coming back if it's more like Thor Ragnarok, where he's reined in and it's more of a balance. If it's gonna be like Thor: Love and Thunder again, where it's just like they amped up the silliness to like so ridiculous how it was in that movie, where I couldn't take anything serious in Thor: Love and Thunder, then I don't want him back. So for me, I'm like, I'm willing to give him another shot if he does return. And the news of Thor, fifth Thor movie being in development, I'm not surprised because yeah, Thor: Love and Thunder didn't get the type of reviews that Thor Ragnarok got when it comes to the positive reviews. It got okay reviews, Thor: Love and Thunder, but it wasn't like as well received as Thor Ragnarok. And it obviously didn't make as much as Thor Ragnarok, but it still made over 700. I know the movie cost like 200 plus, so it wasn't like a big hit. But I can understand them wanting to do another one, and I also would want to see another one because I don't want Thor: Love and Thunder to be the last solo Thor movie. Because of how like it was just a very mediocre movie to me, and it just like I said, it got way too much into the silliness. I hope they bring that down. But I would be excited for another Thor movie, and I'm glad that Chris Hemsworth even felt like Thor: Love and Thunder took the silliness too far. So it sounds like he would have wanted different direction too. The next thing I want to discuss is the director for the Marvels said she pitched Marvel like an idea for a third film. Now, obviously, the Marvels hasn't come out yet. I think it's coming out in November, and I'm personally really excited for that movie because I actually did love Captain Marvel. I know I'm in the minority of that movie a lot. I understand the issues people have with that movie when it comes to that movie being lukewarm or being one of the lesser Marvel movies. But the trailers to me look great. Like I think it looks really fun. I know the director said it's supposed to be really silly and fun, and I know some people get a little bit annoyed with the comedy in the MCU sometimes. And look, there's times where I feel like they really hit that balance really well, and there's other times like Guardians 2 with Thor: Love and Thunder with the Ant-Man sequence where it went too far into silliness. But I think the trailers look great, and I mean, if this movie turns out to be a great movie, I'll love to see a third movie with this director. Now, obviously, the director said, Kevin Feige, he has this plan, so it all comes down to whether this movie is a hit, and obviously, it's the Kevin Feige might not want the Captain Marvel movie, but but I can't say what I would love to see another movie done by this director, but I hope it turns out to be great. The Marvels, and it's just a sign. I think it's exciting to know that she at least has an idea if she did do a third movie where the story would go. So I like hearing that from the director that at least she has a plan. The next thing I want to talk about is I think it was the out of the review there was no plans for the director who was going to direct the original Ant-Man movie, the 2015 one, because it wasn't going to be Peyton Reed. And it sounds like exactly it sounds like exactly why I understand why Edgar Wright didn't direct the original Ant-Man movie from 2015, because his movie was going to be a very solo, not interconnected movie. He was, Edgar Wright likes to make his own movies, and it made perfect sense to me why he didn't stay on the Ant-Man movie, his original version of the Ant-Man movie back in 2015, because it sounds like it was very much just a solo movie, not connected to anything. And it was at a time when MCU was, and it was like that movie was in development, I think even before the first Iron Man movie. So it was at a time when MCU wasn't really a thing, we even got started yet. So I can definitely understand why he wouldn't want to why he wanted to go with his original plan. But it's interesting to hear that it was going to be he wanted to make his own movie. It wasn't going to be interconnected. But to me, Marvel made the right decision. Plus, we still got a great movie with that first Ant-Man movie. Those are all the movie topics. Until next time, movie fans.